welcome to Banff Centre Talks. I'm John Rockwell, that's Mark Morris, in case there's any confusion. The basic subject that I wish to address with Mark tonight, since he's here in the music faculty, is music and his relationship to music. But he is better known, so far, as a choreographer and dancer. This musicality that you epitomize, in my opinion, is evident in your regular modern dance idiom that you do with your company, but also in the ballets you make and even in the operas you direct. But what does it mean? Does it mean that you, A, decide on the music before you even begin to think about the choreography? Or does it mean that you constantly refer back to the music and the score as you're choreographing? Or is it sometimes the other way around, that a choreographic idea inspires a piece of music?
It means a bunch of different things. First of all, the term musical, up until the turn of the 20th century, was secret code for queer, of course. So was Orphic, and so was lyric. All of those things, the things that we love, were actually beautiful compliments about homosexuals. I'm also gay. I identify as homosexual.
But I don't think when people say you're a musical choreographer, they mean, hey, he's
oh,
a gay
really?
choreographer.
Oh, that's too bad. That's why it was a compliment. The thing is, I work from music. I only work from music. I can't make up a dance to a piece of music that I don't like enough. I've learned that by having done it a couple times, and I just made a big turd. Mm-hmm. So what happens is I find a piece of music that I love. I've known it for 5 minutes because I heard it on the rental car radio, or I've known it since childhood. And because of different things and different requirements of the repertory and my personal interest and where I am in my choreographic life, I decide to make up a dance, and then I study the score. I give the score to whatever collaborators I'm planning on working with, costume designers, set, and all of that, and lighting. And I study the music, and I also don't study the music. I study it and listen, then I don't listen and just read it, then I stop reading it, and then I start into rehearsal, and I make up a dance with a pianist in the room at all times. I only rehearse with what is now live music. It used to just be called music. Like the acoustic guitar or something. It's a retro construction. So I work with music for the simple reason that I adore music, and I've noticed in about 99% of world culture, music, rhythm at least, and music are the impetus for dancing. So that doesn't seem strange to me. So in certain dance circles, a musical choreographer is a terrible insult. It means that I'm revealing the dance that is already in the score if you just listen to it. And if nobody knows, of course, that they learned all of that from Iwerks and the Disney animators doing the unbelievable music visualization starting in the 20s. And that has become, and a lot of ballet choreographers have done that. So for a lot of choreographers, and dance people, that's what is sort of wince-producing about my work. It's
Why,
like
that it's so too mimetic?
It's so obvious, yeah. It's like, well, it's fast. They're dancing fast, and the music is fast. It's like, what's wrong with that? It's like, well, that was not on purpose, for one thing. But the other thing is, one reason I've been sort of embraced by the music world is because I use really good music, I use really good musicians, I commission scores, I know what I'm doing. So musicians, a lot of musicians who don't like to see dance very much because of the bad recordings, or I'm so tired of hearing the Vivaldi Four Seasons, I don't really need to hear this bad recording of it with a genius, beautiful dance that doesn't even matter because the show's already ruined. And I kind of feel that way. So, musicians especially, it's flattering if they have like zero relationship with dance. Aside from like, I have a girlfriend who used to dance. That happens a lot. It's like, oh, we have so much in common. That's really interesting. Right. I sang Happy Birthday once at a party, So the thing, it's like, Emmanuel Axe, a pianist of renown who I love and have worked with, saw a piece that I did to the Schumann piano quintet and said, like, it was damning a little bit. He said, well, I can't listen to the music anymore that way. It's like, I was kind of sick of the piece, having played it since, infancy. It's like, and he saw a dance of mine, and that changes how you think about the music. And I don't want it to be, that's the score, it's like that it was written for that dance, or even, I'm not even trying to make it look like that. It's just a point of view about it. So when musicians say you're so musical, it's because they've seen so much dancing that doesn't relate in a way, in a choreo visual way, musical visual way that makes sense to musicians. So what's obvious and hackneyed to some dance people is a revelation to some music people. And I'm not saying any of them are particularly stupid. So, it's a very interesting thing.
But you described the process of, hearing a piece of music, whether it was on the radio or from childhood, becoming interested, going to the score, going to spreading it out, and then going closer into the score and then stepping back from the score and so forth. Do you ever deliberately choreograph sort of contrapuntally to the music?
Oh, yes, all the time.
I mean, like fast music, slow dance.
Oh, yeah, sure. Or also long pages of music that aren't tacked directly to a beat or a tune or any kind of harmonization. It's just this section of music seems like it should remind me of, I don't know, a mountain or something, so there are kind of mountains everywhere. It's like, okay, let's do something that can do that. And then I'll patch it in. But, many choreographers, I'm sorry to say, well, first of all, there are very few, and there's not a lot of work. There are lots of really good dancers and plenty of good choreographers, but as I keep saying, compared to the music world, it's a very, very minute thing. So I didn't do it to cash in on, like to get more money. It's that I've always done dancing to music, and I've always loved it.
To get more money, your insistence on live music is presumably counterproductive to getting more money.
Right, especially because in general musicians make like 1,000 times more money than a dancer. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course they do. And so we balance it as we can. So anyway, I have a roster of musicians who work for me who are called the MMDG Music Ensemble, and that ranges from a piano, my music director, Colin Fowler, who plays all of my rehearsals, all the keyboard stuff. When I conduct, he plays harpsichord continuo. He conducts himself. He's a Juilliard grad organist, so he can sight read from a full score, which, he doesn't realize that that's insane. And it's very valuable for me. And so he plays in all of my concerts and all the rehearsals, so it's a deep connection.
In your experience, whether or not you can boil down a full score and sight read it at the piano, but you are musically literate, and in your experience, are other choreographers musically literate?
Not very many.
Yeah, that would have been my guess as well.
Yeah, not very many. But, you don't have to be. I prefer that. That's my favorite thing, is a choreo musical entity. Right. But, there are wonderful pieces of choreography that have a completely different relation to music or don't use music in any way, or, there are many, many approaches. But sure. I defend them as everyone's right to do them, and I love any show that grabs me in a certain way. I'm not against seeing that. I'm not going to go to see, I won't go see something to a recording that I know and a choreographer who I'm not so wild about anyway. I'll just stay home because it's more fun.
Are your piano skills enough to practice at home? Not that you wish to inflict it on the public necessarily, but...
I read music pretty well. I can, at gunpoint in slow motion, yes.
Yeah, I can relate to this.
I sing very enthusiastically, like my Welsh-derived father did. And you don't need to hear it, but I'm semi-accurate, and I'm very enthusiastic. And fearless.
I've been at
rehearsals
the last couple of days. I think your favorite expletive is yay.
Yay!
Yes,
yeah.
Which is great.
That means not bad.
Yeah. It doesn't.
oh, sorry. I gave that away.
When a piece of music grabs you, does it speak to you in terms of modern dance or ballet? Is there a different choice of repertory for the ballets you make?
Yes, I'm not going to waste an incredibly complicated, difficult to comprehend and thrilling, in detail piece of music on a ballet company because they don't have the depth of musical understanding that my company does.
I see. So you go for either really familiar stuff or basic stuff in some ways for the ballet.
Yes, I can safely say that, yes. I had a piece of music, two pieces of music that I was really sort of itching to choreograph. I forget even exactly what they were, but this was recently. And I was going to do a new piece for my company and a new piece for a ballet company commission. It's like, well, I'm not sure. I'd made up several pieces that year, and it was like, I'm kind of, okay, but I want to use this music. And I ended up switching it at the last minute because the piece of music, because it wouldn't have worked in a big opera house. Not just the scale of it, but the music itself.
Well,
I have to be careful in ballet companies because often the orchestras are dicey, and you know you're laughing because you know that that's true. And also the musical sophistication of ballet dancers is not very high in general because it's not required.
One of
It's
the
not
most-
that they're dumb, it's that they're ignorant.